side of No Lives Matter. It is going to be Sorlag from Unlovable, so I was just remembering.
You're trying to make sure who was on each side.
Yes, I can remember who was blue and who was red in the situation. But still, so it's going to be, again, these are all champions that see a lot of play in Sacrifice nowadays, so not a huge surprise at all. I think that Sorlag really has showed a lot of value in terms of like health, and still, you know, even though that, oh, that was unfortunate, running straight into that plasma trail, but Sorlag showing a lot of value in terms of like health, and still has a lot of damage output with the acid spit. Just maybe not quite as much before, but still definitely respectable damage.
I've got to say, historically, Tempest Shrine has been a very good map for Unlovables. They've pulled off some great results on this map. They did it in Denver, and I think it must be just a map that they're a big fan of. But they've been able to seize the power-up too, but they're going to have to, unfortunately, actually use that power-up to try and stop the soul time. But has it been forced to reset? If it's out of action, they're either hiding or they've thrown it off the map. No, they haven't quite been able to pick it up.
Oh, they died with it near the obelisk. They actually effectively walked it back to them almost most of the way.
I mean, they wasted a little bit of time.
A bit.
But it wasn't enough, I don't think.
But it's enough to stop this being a huge lead, and obviously we're going to probably end this quad damage with about a 20% lead, so it's definitely not a bad amount at all, but it's definitely not the most we've seen so far. So though Brick trying to get it away, but is he actually able to? No. Was immediately stopped. Kane put a stop to that straight away.
Had a good job of defending it so far. Bot mode, and I've got to say, bot mode has been quite a strong performer on Unlovables. With that Anarchy pick, he's been consistently pulling off some great results, and I think a lot of the frags he's able to secure are quite significant frags indeed.
It's one of those things, right, in Sacrifice, where there are some champions that seemingly, like, they're not going anywhere in terms of the meta. Like, it doesn't matter how the game is changing, as long as they remain the way they are, they will consistently be their pick. And I think Anarchy is definitely one of those. It seems that at the moment, Slash is definitely seeming like that too. Nyx definitely has that place. And if you've got a player on your team that is so good with that essential champion, it just is such an amazing addition to that team. You know, when you say bot mode on the Anarchy, and that's kind of exactly that.
Here comes Sen. Punch and pin in the back of the head. Watching those third-person berserks can be quite brutal, really. He just comes out of nowhere and bam!
Brick there trying to go through. Oh, almost getting stopped, but has someone with him trying to get through. Brick putting that injection, getting that speed boost. Oh, but the anticipation shooting him out of the air.
Not just anticipation, but anticipation from literally all 4 members of Unlovable. They were all waiting around that corner. He was not going to get out with that alive at all.
Flying going through, however. The protection going to be up in a few seconds. Kane. Yeah, frag there, bot mode.
This is likely to be a safe drop because they're not going to challenge it, right? I think they're going to try and likely fight for the power-up first. So now it's going to be protection. Here comes Effortless. They made the choice. Let them drop the soul off. It's going to mean that bot mode's not going to be in the fight. We're likely to be able to fight for this power-up and get it instead, and then use the power-up to fight for the soul afterwards. It's exactly what they've gone for. Are they going to be able to drop things off? I assume so because of the protection, but how much can they climb it? That's going to be the problem.
Well, they got the capture, but 60% to what was 0 at the time. They've got their work out for them to even things up, but the protection is going to be a great way to really start a firm defense here, I think. But coming out now, only really has a shotgun and a nail gun so far. So not the best options, but bot mode ready on the case, trying to stop again. Has the soul, but already stopped a lot of that percentage from climbing. And CCAT now running through with that escort of a berserking Doomslayer, but it's still going to die.
Taking big damage. I think people trying to close in right here. It's a bit of a back and forth. I feel like Kane was able to actually, the choice to not go through that teleporter obviously was a great decision because there was so much action taking place through that teleporter that going through it would have been a death sentence, giving up the soul unnecessarily as well. Good patience there from Kane. Has been able to drop it off, probably going to go down momentarily because of his unbelievably low health and armor, but I think his work for this life was done.
Very nice grouping though coming through from Unlovables for that defense there. All of them were there immediately, but Pit with a nice couple of rockets and a rail too. It's going to be that one-man attempt. Trying to take this back. Effortless here is going to be able to steal the soul away, but as always, the important thing is getting it back safely. And this is the kind of thing that Unlovables, they weren't able to efficiently stop them from capturing last time.
But getting the soul from Obelisk B to A is quite consistent trouble that teams can have. It just seems like this going from B to A can be a little bit risky. And I think, especially seeing as Unlovables still have the Sorlag, that sort of hallway that people don't really like trying to fight through. Sorlag can pretty much be lying in wait there every single time. And there's no way you're dodging the acid spit in that close proximity.
But that is going to be 2 for 2, that No Lives Matter. They were able to capture the soul, but I mean, they basically lost it immediately. I think as soon as they capture it, Unlovables really just attack and they go through. CCAP getting a nice quick double with that super shotgun. Did the soul get off the, did it get off the map or did they get it in time?
I believe it was thrown off the map, so the reset's going to take place. Unfortunately though, because they lost so many people in a small space of time, that might allow Unlovables to somewhat maintain a level of control in the middle of the map. However, Sygib has been able to seize that quad damage. So now he's going to be able to be quite bully on this point, allow the rest of his team to get away with that soul. And I think the reset into making sure they seize the quad damage, it was a nice combination. Very important they got the quad damage off.
Wait, did the soul get reset again?
Maybe. It looks like it, doesn't it?
Oh, unfortunately, both of those resets happening while their own team had the quad damage, though, meant that they couldn't use the quad damage to capture. All they did was secure the quad and get some frags, but ultimately, were they able to pick it up at the respawn? They were, at least. So they were at the very end of quad, able to salvage a capture, but already Unlovables ahead. Oh, full speed ahead with that gauntlet in hand. But Brick coming in with that super shotgun, doing good things. Taking out himself.
The issue is that because there were so many resets that came through there, it was only ever really going to be a good exchange for Unlovables because their lead was so significant. So if all that time's going down and nothing really is happening, and no percentage is coming for No Lives Matter, then ultimately, Unlovables will be happy with that result, because they're still ahead.
Yeah, nice frag though. The soul not quite able to get through, already taken back by No Lives Matter. Now this is good for them. They have been able to really control this now and put a lid on things, as they've now managed to hold on for a little bit longer this time, without losing the soul straight away.
That was a very impressive SMG, by the way. Hit plenty of those shots, but...
You can see there's two of Unlovables with that super shotgun in hand. That's doing a lot of damage, but Kane is going to drop anyway. Didn't quite do enough. Psychic now with a 48 health, very low now.
He gets still alive. Wow. Yeah, still alive. Very impressive to stay alive for that long. Oh, well, he went down anyway, but don't be too worried about that. No Lives Matter. They're putting on one hell of a defense at the moment. Brick with a frag soon to follow. I feel like they found their bearings here. C-Cap, though, has been able to steal things away.
Right as you can say that, C-Cap just swoops in and takes it right from under their noses. And bot mode, able to run through with that speed.
But because they just lost C-Cap and bot mode was the drop-off, there wasn't many people. Actually, even though there was nowhere near as many members of Unlovables there to fight for that power-up, the fact they were still able to secure that was really impressive. Took a bunch of gauntlet damage, so he's taking quite a significant amount. Will they be able to get the soul out? It doesn't look likely.
Oh, goodbye, entire team. 85% now because of that. They will all respawn at the same time, but that's a lot of percentage starting to rise already from Unlovables. I mean, No Lives Matter, they respawn at the same time, but they have to try and get the weapons. They're going to have to wait some weapon respawns. They're not going to go in with exactly what they need. Hang on, though. Sidegib does manage to get a couple of good rail kills. 3 rail kills by himself. And that, in a sense, actually is the full team dev on Unlovables too. No Lives Matter. Sidegib, really good job of just really putting a lid on that.
But this is that hallway, right? If you're going to try and get the soul out through this hallway, there's nowhere to run. If you get caught off guard right here, there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to dodge. They have been able to survive because there was plenty of heads on that point. But here comes bot mode. That hallway of death, as always. So hard to fight through.
Sidegib was able to use his berserk to get through, as a lot of health left regardless, so was able to get the capture. Might still die here. The important thing was he was able to take that soul away from Unlovables when they are so close to the end of the round.
They're definitely trading these frags back and forth, but that fight goes in the favor of Unlovables. 2 kills unchallenged, and now all 4 members of the team trying to make safe passage back. I like bot mode's pathing, making sure that he's going to collect the Mega on the way back. They have lost a couple of teammates though, Pit with a very impressive double before getting taken out himself. But if bot mode gets this drop off, I mean, with 4% left, they've not got a lot of work left to do.
I mean, No Lives Matter are here, they're trying to stop him, but there's actually a relatively tanky bot mode. And remember the rocket launcher, Sidegib gets immediately given by the rocket launcher there himself. As they were able to drop off the capture. 1 damage rocket, but Pit will die anyway.
There we go. 1 round is taken for Unlovables. Now, they actually got the first 50% in around 2 minutes. So the fact that No Lives Matter were actually able to stay alive and really...
I said that actually ended up quite a long round, considering how quickly they were able to take such a lead.
Yeah, looking at how quickly the percentage was climbing early on, you're actually kind of almost surprised that it went on for that long, but Unlovables ultimately were able to get a little bit of a better start. But I think it was the second No Lives Matter found their bearings. I think they looked a lot more comfortable on that obelisk. But
I think No Lives Matter can sort of take the coordination they had at the end of that round that made them sort of make it last so long and take that from the start this time. I guess that really is the question.
They got a couple of really good frags there, Sen. Unfortunately, he gets taken out before he can really do anything with the soul, and you're going to see it consistently trade back and forth. A huge part of sacrifices just watching these frags go over and over. Pit looking to make safe passage, but no one nearby. That was a safe drop-off.
That's definitely still, to this day, seems to be the favoured obelisk that team's looking to take in. So very good for No Lives Matter to be able to control that straight away. So that first power-up has spawned, and it is quad damage going the way of C-Cap. Now, can they use this to get the obelisk back?
But with the soul being in transit, clearly there's going to be like a nice level of coordination. But wow, Brick somehow manages to take C-Cap completely by surprise. Doesn't get hit by as much damage, and unfortunately just go down. So Kane with this quad is probably going to be able to do a really good job of defense right here.
No, but the soul actually was taken around at the time, so Kane was getting some frags while the soul was actually being taken away by No Lives Matter.
But look at how many frags went in their favor too. I mean, this quad hasn't really made a huge impact. Even if he gets one more frag here, there's plenty of heads left on this obelisk to cause Kane a bunch of injury, but can he survive? Like, nah, with 9 health left and a little bit of rocket left, that's only going to survive for so long, I think. But just look at this attack. Unlovable's coming in with full force.
Although did get a couple, CCap getting in the third, so it's going to be 3 of them dead, but already the respawns have come into play, trying to take this away. CCap going to try and use the corridor, getting chased, but giving him a lot of speed. That lightning gun from behind sometimes can be a little bit of a blessing and a curse. This time, definitely a blessing.
Well, if Sorlag's in the middle of her bunny hopping sequence because of her passive and she's gotten lots of stack and you just LG her in the backside, you're pretty much doing her a favor, right? You're just giving her that speed boost.
It's one of the situations that you can't exactly not shoot her, because you definitely need to stop that soul from being captured, but if she's stacked up enough, it will be hard to reliably do that. Oh, but that quick arm pickup's going to do a good job, but actually 2 kills with a Berserk there coming from Sen. He is an angry man at the moment.
I feel like Berserk is an amazing tool for sacrifice, you know, the fact that you've got that
especially now the punch is easier to land.
Yeah, exactly. Like 75 damage per punch, you're hitting constant punches, there's lots of action, like it's really dangerous.
But here we go, that corridor of death. Everything's just being chopped up. Kane getting suicide, though. Unfortunately, in Saigib can use that Berserk trying to run around, pick up that health. This should be a safe return for Saigib, but maybe just trying to get some time. Oh, no, he gets stopped on the way. There's that good read from Sen. That's exactly where he was going to go there to try and get away. With that mega health, too. We've already seen how tanky Doomslayer can be. Unfortunately, Sen's not going to be strong enough to really fight for that. Kane has been able to seize the protection. I think the invisibility may have actually been used a little bit too late. So he wasn't really going to be able to fight for that protection whatsoever. Kane with a really impressive stack. And now he's got full armor. He's going to be very difficult indeed to take down. Unlovables keeping this momentum and they're continuing to ride it. Kane manages to get a little bit of a streak going. Manages to take down Brick as well. And just like that, they're going to build at least 50% here. Oh, full speed ahead, flying Doomslayer out of nowhere. Gravity defying when you're that angry, who cares? Still though, that was a really good sequence for Unlovables. I think a big thing Unlovables are going to have though, they still maintain that Sorlag and slash combo. They still have a nice amount of just get that damage on the floor. Don't let them go through. And even though they've lost that, they don't have the nicks, which means they don't have the sort of, you know, contesting ability to reappear on those power-ups. They are still clearly playing around that really well. But Effortless coming in from above now. They get a nice frag. Bot mode though, getting a return frag with that gauntlet. Again, there's like that plasma trail. You just cannot afford to try and contest that soul if that is up, because you will die to it.
Saigib, he's going to try and use that Berserk mode, but if you're stuck to melee, running into a gauntlet is quite a likely scenario.
There's only so much you can do about it as well, right? Like, if you have that Berserk out, you have no choice but to beat melee for a little while, and the gauntlet is a great answer to that, because you spawn with the gauntlet, everyone will always have it. It's a consistent answer that you can rely on. It just obviously doesn't always work, but it has a good ratio, I think, so far. And look at this defense. No Lives Matter. They cannot take the soul away.
I feel like it's got to be a great level of communication between the Unlovables crew and how the second the soul goes away, pretty much every possible route where No Lives Matter are trying to take the soul away, there's always someone waiting there with a gauntlet in particular, which means they're very, very aware of the escape routes No Lives Matter are going to try and go through. I think that's good reads, that's good awareness.
Oh, nice amount of rails coming out, nails I should say, coming out of Saigib. I didn't see that much damage come out of the nail gun that quickly, but definitely that time.
Then there's 3 rockets left, and that's going to be 1 more %. That's likely to be the map. They have the quad damage, but is it going to be enough? Pit, try
it might be. Pit's here. He has only the starter shotgun, but we've seen how devastating that can be. No! Gets taken out already, but Sen is able to salvage it, but dies as well. Effortless with the quad damage. They, after all that, were still able to take it away. And there's that quad going through 3 different members of No Lives Matter. Finally found it in the hands of someone that might be able to still keep them in this game. Ooh, that's an expensive death though, dropping both the soul and the quad damage, and it's Kane that takes it back.
If there's no one there to contest, that's likely to be the map. Can they get there in time? He's contesting it, but if he goes down, he does. But there's 1 person left. Looks like Pit's going to try and fight as well, but no, Effortless goes down. Pit soon to follow. That is going to be map number 1. Unlovables looking pretty much as strong as we expected to see.
Yeah, but it was also a sign of Unlovables getting both obelisks, you know. And in the first round, they were able to quite quickly take hold of that first soul. They dropped off to the obelisk they wanted immediately. Second round, the exact opposite. You know, they weren't quite able to do the same thing, but were still able to win regardless, which I think is a nice turnaround for them. But, you know, you expected to see this level of dominance from them, especially after how good they were looking at Denver. You said, you know, they're probably the favorites going into this off of the back of their success there. And there will be Ruins of Sarnath as the second map, which we've already seen some cool things on today.
And I think we'll be, we're likely, even though you don't see Ruins of Sarnath picked very much in Duel, I think it's quite a common pick in Sacrifice because of specific strategies that teams are starting to bring to the table now. They're having more time to really grind the game mode. Things are changing all the time, so you're starting to come up with these new strategies here and there. Ruins is a map where you see a lot of these new strategies come into fruition. And to be honest, I think I'm kind of expecting Unlovables to follow suit with their team comp. We might actually see them go with what we know we've been seeing constantly in Sacrifice in terms of champion lineups. But to be honest, yeah, Tempest Shrine, they've consistently played well on that map. They play really well on it in Denver, and I'm not surprised to see them take that first map, seeing as they've played so consistently well on it.
So one thing I think is going to be a bit of a talking point through the rest of the evening today, though, is Ruins of Sarnath and Clutch together. You said earlier on in today that this is a good map. We have, again, going back to what we saw in Denver, Clutch on this map in Sacrifice is something we see quite often. Do you think now either of these teams might go for it? I know you said you might expect Unlovables to stick with what just worked for them, but do you think this
I feel like
if
one of these two teams is likely to go with the Ruins of Sarnath specific picks, it's probably going to be Unlovables because they've sort of been known to do that a little bit in Denver as well. So we'll soon see. Bot mode going in with the Anarchy doesn't surprise me at all. But these final picks, we'll have to wait and see.
Doomslayer. The question is, do we see Sorlag or do we see Clutch?
Yeah, does CCAP go with these? No, he's gone in with Scalebearer. Interesting.
But Scalebearer is also a champion that, again, in the hands of someone that... I feel like with Scalebearer, it requires a lot of timing knowledge, I think, in terms of like how useful he can be when, ball rushing over something right as it spawns, being able to deny, being able to run from point A to point B really fast or vice versa. But I think it requires a lot of like knowledge with the champion because you can't kind of just pick Scalebearer and do it, right? You can't just pick him and go, right, I immediately know what seconds to activate the ball rush. I know exactly how long it's going to take for me to activate it here. What distance do I have to be? So by the time I get on the power-up as it's spawning, I'm at a set speed. You can't just kind of pick him up and just know that, right? It does take a little bit of knowledge and positioning for you to do that kind of thing, especially against a team like we can see. It's going to be a very squishy team on the side. Again, going through, but that's 4 people that will die quite quickly to the bull rush, especially if he's going full speed as something's about to respawn. And he's not going to worry as much about a plasma trail. He's not going to worry as much about Nyx reappearing because he might be able to just get there first anyway.
All right, so we've got about 30 seconds left on this warm-up. To be honest, I think my senses are telling me that I think Unlovables are likely to take this one. I think this could very definitely be a 2-0 for them.
I think especially after how good the final round was in the first map. Like they didn't get the obelisk they wanted, yet they still looked as dominant, which I think is always a good sign.
Oh, always. I mean, even if we're at a stage where teams aren't, particularly prioritizing one over the other, the fact that you can defend just as easily on both of them, I think, is always going to be a good sign. But here we go, 5 seconds left on this warm-up. We're going into our second map between No Lives Matter and Unlovables. We're going to see if these guys have what it takes to move into Grand Finals winner's side. Unlovables definitely being the favorites, looking very dominant indeed. But can they keep this momentum going?
It's a weird one, though, because, like, No Lives Matter, they definitely weren't struggling in terms of like getting frags. They weren't consistently losing fights. A big thing of that, I think, is speed. They were typically getting beaten to the punch when it came to, dropping the soul off or being able to get the power-ups at the right time. And I think things like that, little bits of coordination. CCAP, if he walked a few steps more, definitely would have taken out that Nyx there. But I think right now, No Lives Matter, they're doing fine in terms of like individual frags and winning 1v1s and doing damage, but it really is that next level coordination that I think Unlovables kind of have the edge on them at the moment.
Okay, it's taken Brick with that soul, but with himself
probably going to die at that health.
I mean, you're probably going to be #1, right? Pit has the quad damage, but he is also getting focused. CCAP actually almost trade it back and forth. The rocket gets fired ever so slightly before the super shotgun comes through.
Right, so even though No Lives Matter lost the quad, they were able to control an obelisk at the time. So even though it looks like they're probably going to lose this one, they at least got the obelisk they wanted.
I liked that little bit of patience coming through Sen, though, when he realized that, well, at the very least, if I'm going to go up this jump pad, I'm going to make sure I've got over 8 HP, because he doesn't want to get insta-killed by a rail.
Yes, indeed, but there we go. There's that Scalebearer running through full speed. A little bit of quad damage left, but it has just run out. The important thing for Unlovables, they were able to get through. Quick suicide, dropping off his rocket launcher to his ally.
I actually quite like that suicide. If you've got 3 HP, you're probably going to die anyway. Your best bet is probably just to trade off the rocket launcher and
give the rocket launcher to someone that doesn't have it, right?
Exactly. These little decisions you kind of see quite consistently in Sacrifice. I think it's definitely a good idea.
Pit flying in full speed with that gauntlet, but still trying to do the damage. The numbers are definitely in their favor. No Lives Matter able to steal the soul away. How quickly can they get it back? I mean, it hasn't been the getting the soul to the obelisk that they've been struggling with. It's been keeping it there for a substantial amount of time. Because Unlovables, they've been letting No Lives Matter drop it off, but then immediately coming in as a group and taking it straight away. And even here, Pit very low now, but still might be able to win this fight as Effortless is here trying to back him up too. But there we go, Sun from a mile away. Hitting that rail. Unfortunately missing one though, so as long as he misses those rails, he's going to get punished quite heavily right there. These fights are definitely going in the favour of No Lives, but a little bit of a temporary steal. Gonna waste a little bit of time at the very least. And Pit going in using that plasma trail so he can't be followed. Gonna be another safe drop off. A much stronger start for No Lives Matter now. Have a lead, albeit not a giant lead, but definitely one nonetheless. But bot mode, using that injection, toss it back up again. The gauntlet not gonna quite connect. Ooh, C-Cap flying in with that bull rush. Get that finish off, and C-Cap getting another kill with that rail. C-Cap's not going to be able to survive for very long though without that bull rush available, so he's going to try and cover as much distance as possible. Kane won't be able to survive for very long. Wasn't very strong at all. Sen, even though he's got the protection, health, but mega health is going to do good things at getting that back most likely. There we go. But there we go. Doesn't want to wait out too long and waste this important protection.
And there we go. A very comfortable defense coming through Unlovables. Very small space of time, they're likely to even things out very comfortably. And there you go, 32% versus 32. Unlovables now taking the lead for this first round.
But a nice turnaround, Saigib going to survive that and turn it into another frag with a rocket launcher. And instantly, Soul being stolen away. Not bad, a lot of damage, but again, contending for that rocket launcher. Gonna get through. Effortless quite low here, but might still be able to move on. He does have his teammates here ready to escort him through. I feel like if you can control Obelisk B though, you kind of have a lot of like nice space to fight towards the rocket launcher and sort of keep things denied. I know one element of sacrifice is to take the important weapons that opponents are likely to try and use to almost make that comeback. They need certain equipment, they need certain tools to fight for the point to get the soul in hand, and if you're constantly keeping those tools away from them on purpose, you're kind of making their jobs a little bit more difficult. The lightning gun is straight up being ignored right now, you know, for the majority of all these players in this game so far. You know, most players aren't even having it in something they you know, really value as an important weapon pickup. It's just very much favour of these rockets. The shotgun doing a tremendous amount of damage for a lot of these guys. But it really is that rocket launcher. But when there's one heavily contested weapon between an entire game's worth of players, you're not always going to get it. When you do, you need to make sure that you are making the most of it. That's why I think making sure that if you're going to go down with the rocket launcher, making sure you pick the rocket launcher up on the core. Because you actually notice whenever someone goes down in Sacrifice, particularly on this map, when someone goes down, there's always a rocket launcher on their corpse. I think it just kind of goes to show how important this one weapon is for everyone on the map. I mean, when's the last time we even saw an LG trail so far? It's 100% rail and rocket. I mean, just keep an eye on the guys that are spectating. You know, it's very rare that they even are holding an LG, let alone using it. And right now, Kane does, but he's been alive for a little while now. Cycled through most of it, has the quad. A lot of damage coming through this time. Oof. Another quick kill. Unlovable is probably going to drop this off now, thanks to that. Oh, Pit drops two. I know he's quite low there if he can just get one shot, but won't be able to get it. A couple of bit jukes back and forth. Very nice coming out of Saigib there.
Kane's like to be a little bit frustrated about how Doomslayer still managed to survive those 2 quad damage shotgun blasts, but even if he didn't have much health left, the fact that he was actually wasting a lot of that time and sort of zipping in and out between those 2 pillars, it was basically just wasting the quad time. That quad time was not being used to defend the obelisk, so he's going to be happy with that.
Yeah, passing this all over to someone a bit more appropriate to carry it. Brick going to pick it up. Just picked up the mega health, so has a little bit of that overstacked health. And dropping it off again. Going towards the 75%, 3/4 of the way done now. How long can he stay alive? He is relatively weak here. Oh, but alive enough. His teammates are ready to help. And there we go, another frag. Brick. There's not a lot of health left at all. Still doing a lot of damage and making a huge difference on this point.
It was a very nice shot on bot mode. Unfortunately, he's run out of rails though, which means Kane can quite easily slide in there and finish the job. But look at this. No Lives Matter. They've got 10% left. This has been a very good round for them so far.
Oh, Pit trying to stop with the gauntlet, but enough health on Kane to sponge at least one of them. Now needs his teams to help him go through. Trying to clear the point so it's safe for him to move through. Very weak here. It has some help, but still going to die. At least picks it up. C-Cap, because he does have the bull rush. Probably going to try and do it here. Yeah, we go. Drops it off. Runs through. That damage mitigation. Going to give him a safe drop. Might die here, but at least was able to stall some time.
But Effortless going down, and that double kill. Kane and The rest following through. That was a really good fight for those guys. I actually love the ball rush using the damage mitigation. Yes, if I go down after dropping it off.
Now, Unlovable, they can't afford to lose this protection here. Oh, Effortless with the double reappear, the telefrag on that Ghost Walk. That might have single-handedly won this round, because now not only did they lose 2 people, they lost the power-up and have now lost the soul on it.
Yep, and while that rocket launcher continues to take a while to respawn in between, it's very unfortunate for these guys. No Lives Matter now with 8% left, and while they continue to hold this protection, I don't know if they can even deal with it. Can they even take this guy out, you know? But they have to really focus as much as possible, but CCAP goes down, they lose 2 more. They're gonna have to trickle in 1 at a time, which, as we've seen many times before, is not the ideal strategy, but sometimes needs must. Is this gonna be enough to survive? Sen's gonna try and fight off as well, but he himself goes down to Cygib's Berserk mode. Brick with an impressive gauntlet kill, and then Effortless with the 2 rocket kills to finish the job. That's going to be round number 1, and No Lives Matter looking much stronger on this Ruins of Sarnath map pick.
Well fought completely, you know, a 7.5-minute round, definitely going through the longer side, but done well, 100%. And again, it really came down to that final play, you know, that double telefrag on the Ghost Walk reappear. It's not something that we see too often, you know. I mean, Unlovables have been doing a really good job of avoiding that telefrag, and you know, even killing him as soon as he reappears. But in that one situation, perfectly played.
Now that all-important round beginning. Yeah, if you go down around now, it's not important, but once you reach that sort of 5-second mark, you're out of action. Kind of like now, really. When you're out of action while that soul's about to respawn, that's where things get unfortunate. CCAP, full speed ahead.
I mean, that's what we're saying, right? You know, if you have the knowledge to time that ball rush and make sure you're at the right distance, so right as that soul reappears, you are at a generous amount of speed, so you're going to do a ton of damage. That's exactly what you can do. There is going to be a slash on that point. There is going to be a Nyx there. They are picked, they are built really in this mode to be the one to take away that first soul. And here comes Scalebearer running in, just putting a stop to all of that. It will be CCAP again. Netflix trying to wait here, but he is surrounded. Might be dangerous here. Manages to get a nice pass over to his team though, but CCAP, he smells, but he's chasing through the damage reduction. He doesn't care about the plasma trail. The big man running through with that damage reduction.
But to be honest, he took very little damage.
He did!
Because there was no detonation, the individual damage from that trail was not really going to affect him too much, but losing the quad damage, but plenty of it has already been used. Unlovables have the drop again. Pit's been able to seize it, but super weak. And the miss.
Yeah, and bot mode is going to punish him there. Can't save his drop off, but it looks like some of his teammates getting a couple of frags. Might still be a capture, and it will be. Is that all 4 of them, or is that just 3? At least most of No Lives Matter here are here, ready to try and keep this offense back. But they did lose pretty much everybody. That's their danger. So No Lives Matter very happy with this defense so far. This with the trade back there. It was going in their favor. I mean, they managed to get at least 10%, so 13 to 10, not a complete disaster, but bot mode waiting for this mega health. Gonna grab it for sure. That's gonna be 1 dropping down. Effortless not gonna be there 2 now. It should be safe to drop this off at the very least. Oh, hang on a minute. No, Cygib says no. Was the only one left defending, but was definitely enough to stop the capture. Whoa. Going in there with the Berserk mode, actually, just to try and deal with the anarchy. That bothersome anarchy at the bottom. Are now in the lead again, albeit not by much. They do at least have the people here ready to go. Actually, all 4 of them very weak here. This is going to be hard for Unlovables to hold on. Not a lot of health left at all for any of them, but still managing to get the damage through. And here we go. The Berserk is going to get a frag in the end anyway, but he took a lot of damage in the process. If everyone's going to be really low on HP, then at least make sure you're hitting those rails and those rockets. And if they're not taking any damage to you or doing damage to you, then your health becomes irrelevant. You may as well have 1 HP. If they're not hitting you and you're hitting every rail, it is what it is. Oh, pop mode sort of sent into orbit a little bit there. Yeah, nice couple of rockets there coming through. Effortless having that protection though. This is going to be bad news for Unlovables. It'll be very hard for them to take the soul away when you're fighting. Again, the Nyx too, right? Whenever it's protection, Nyx seems to be like that really strong go-to target for it. Hang on a minute, no, bot mode still able to get through. Oh! And that return frag's been getting chased, but he is getting chased by a berserking Cygib. Just to get the frag. Effortless too. But they're still defending. Effortless has the protection, but all of his team's dead. What can he do? To be honest, I kind of feel like Nyx is going to have a little bit more free reign to control some of these power-ups because there is not as much area denial for her to reappear into obvious death. That's one of the issues I think right now Unlovables are having because they have CCAP on that Scalebearer. Definitely not to say that the pick is not working, because obviously that's not what I'm saying at all. However,
I think that with the champion lineup, it's a little bit more difficult for there to be this one assertive, chunky champion that is putting off a lot of damage and a lot of stack, making it hard to really challenge. You know, Nyx is pretty much in a lot more free reign to reappear in, pretty much be risk-free to take these two power-ups.
That was actually really, really well played there, though. I mean, Sen was basically guaranteed to die, but he threw the soul, and both members of No Lives Matter actually turned around and favored the soul instead of finishing him off. And that little bit of time, let his entire team come through, and Saigib was a double kill with that Berserk. Saigib getting so many Berserk kills this round alone.
Here comes Pip, trying to sneak round. He might be getting a drop of no, C-Cap's waiting, but did he get the soul? No.
He may have been able to get away if he picked it up, but unfortunately he went for the Boris a little bit too early. I mean, you know, these situations you can't afford to wait a lot of the time.
Yeah, but he's back in a similar situation, but with no Boros, kind of has to rely on the rest of his team. Kane, I did hear a Berserking Doomslayer, but I think he might be able to get away alive anyway, because Slash naturally a lot faster than Doomslayer regardless of what happens.
Saigib goes down. He was waiting with the gauntlet, but Kane a little bit cautious there. Don't want to be too hasty. And I like this, holding the soul with his team so his entire team can secure this quad damage. And that's exactly what they're going to be able to do now as bot mode has the quad. There's going to be a frag on the Saigib. This should be a safe capture now for Unlovables.
I think it was great awareness
to help them defend.
I think it was actually really great awareness and how they essentially made themselves in a situation where, well, we're not going to be losing ahead to drop off this soul, because if you've got a rocket launcher and we are all on this point and you have the soul in hand, then it allows us all to fight. It allowed them all to fight for quad damage whilst retaining the soul. I think it was a great decision as a team.
Oh, went for the quad, but there was someone waiting with the rail. Saigib. Patience to show through, but Kane getting another frag, getting 2 frags. Quad damage super shotgun. Is there anything more satisfying?
One of the best things in the game to watch, that's for sure. But I think it was a great decision, and it's that level of sort of coordination and teamwork that we saw Unlovables being in the grand finals of DreamHack Denver, because it's just I think that their coordination as a team was very, very prominent. They have 2 nice rails as well, by the way. Hitting Nyx that quickly in succession from that distance is kind of tricky.
Oh, but Pit flying in from behind with his rocket launcher ready to go. Oof, still going to die anyway. The important thing is they're not losing the soul, but they might now. As only a machine gun in hand, that's definitely not enough to defend against 2 people. Brick here as well, trying to get this soul away. The important thing for them now is 86% to 26. It's going to be tough.
There's that Berserk coming through again.
Brick still has the soul, but he's no closer to the obelisk he needs to be at. It seems quite difficult for him to get through.
But I think it's just because look at that coordination, right? And they've just been able to seize heavy armor too. Like they're sort of controlling the enemy obelisk without them even needing to be there. And that naturally is going to make their defense really on point. I think Brick's going to wait. I know he's just got Kane, so that might heavily increase his chance of dropping, but he's waiting until his team give him, you know, the all clear. You know, saying the coast is clear, guys. Now you can run in. He's found that one opening where he won that fight. The rest of the team following up, so that was a very, very good.
Oh, effortless with a triple with the starter shotgun too.
Yep, definitely.
Perfect play. Problem is the protection is now up. Are they there? Oof! No, they lose the protection immediately. One member was there, but Kane very weak for the mega health. I mean, he just picked up 400 health. If we're really being realistic with how much he's going to have with his protection in hand too. Oof! And C-Cap literally clearing the way with that ball rush. But Kane probably going to die here, actually. Very weak. Oh, and Saigib being able to use that Berserk to try and pick up in time. 36 health and a Berserk. He is going to be tough to take down now. The soul stolen immediately. Unlovables were not able to hold it. Trying to keep the rest of his team behind. They just need to drop things off, but that 2-man attack coming through. Unlovables with a double kill. Only got 9% left on this obelisk though, so if they drop it off and hold it off for a very, very small amount of time, they're going to tie things up 1-1. Only has the lightning gun though. Oh, and again, C-Cap just getting so many ball rush kills.
Like, even if Scalebearer is not going to be as good at controlling the power-up because of just, like, I guess, the angles and the stairs and everything else, where he's not going to... He can't almost do, like, a blood covenant. He's not going to be able to sort of charge and easily take it. There is still a lot of straight open space that lets Scalebearer build up that charge to max capacity and pretty much guarantee a frag every time he uses it.
That's probably going to be the round for Unlovables. As it is, they do kill Brick before he's in range to contest the point, and that's now going to put Unlovables on match point. However, No Lives Matter, they did look really good in that first round. And if they can do that again, we are going to go down to a map 3, or this is where it's going to end in this winners finals.
Well, I think the fact they've been able to at least take a round here shows good promise for these guys. I think the fact that their first round was, it was really, really a confidence-building round, if anything else. The fact they've been able to take one round, the simple fact of the matter is they just need one more, so it's possible. Oh, there's the surrounding, though.
Still, it's not really until that sort of few seconds before Soul spawning that is really important, and obviously a little bit of time before to get weapons and stuff, but still, let's make sure you're alive as possible to get it. There's going to be CCAP running through that bull rush. Going to hold on, but what Obelisk looks like he's actually choosing to run towards... It's going to be A.
It kind of seemed like No Lives Matter actually pushed so heavily out of the Soul location that they've actually left it vulnerable for CCAP to just swoop in there and take it. I'd like for them to sort of see them sort of stand their ground a little bit. Has taken them a little bit longer to actually drop this Soul off though, which means there's not going to be anywhere near as many people fighting for this power-up. Might indeed, and has done, opened up No Lives Matter's opportunity to take it under their noses. Because that Soul drop-off took so long, No Lives Matter were pretty much able to just swoop in there, and Psychic stole the quad damage before anyone could even challenge.
It was very uncontested, but at the end of the day, you're still ready to be squishy without a lot of armor in hand. There's still a lot of health for Psychic to get taken out with. Right now, he's not even the focus. They just want to stop this Soul, but at one sequence, Unlovables, they were able to get 13%, which isn't bad by any means, but it's definitely not as much as we have been seeing that initial capture. No Lives, even though they've just lost that quad damage, they now have control again.
Well, you mentioned 13%, right? Where it's not the biggest lead in the world, and just like that, No Lives Matter have been able to tie things up. Of their defense in the Obelisk, you know, that they're consistently coming off better. Every single frag is going in No Lives Matter's favor. If they keep this up, we're definitely going to a map 3.
Still though, let's not say that too soon, but you never know. Power-up not going to be up for a very long time. Unlovable starting to group up. Seeing the drive them over there, but one person's left flying in from behind with the gauntlet, but he gets spotted out. Kane can't do any damage before he's immediately dealt with. Psychic. Psychic really has just been one of those top fraggers on the team so far, I think.
I feel like as Doomslayer, in many ways, that's what your objective is going to be, right? Where you've got that impressive stack, you've got that good mobility.
But just like that, 2 kills with the bull rush, a choo-choo for CCAP, 1 gauntlet kill, just that quickly.
Now bot mode, he's going to have to be careful. He's going to have to wait for the rest of his team to sort of give him the all clear, but they're trying to surprise, but look at the amount of people of Unlovable just sort of flooding in there together. That was a really nice coordinated drop-off.
Wow, and now just cleaning house, bot mode. Salvage some of this time too, getting near that injection again. Brick trying to sneak in behind, but again, immediately dies. Only 10 seconds until the next power-up, however, but Effortless gonna die. He'll be very well equipped to contest that power-up now. But looks like Pit here. Both slashers are here painting what they can. One bot mode running in. Oh, protection? Yeah, bot mode managed to get it. What an exchange. Gibbs left, right, and center, but Botmo being chased. They know he's weak here. He's going to die, and Gibb is the one to take him out and pick up the protection anyway. But CCAP flying in with that bull rush. Bull rush taking out a protected target. That's not something you tend to see very often.
But if you manage to do it, that's what's going to allow you to guarantee. Does he go into the charge? No, he goes down before he even has a chance to use the teleport to CCAP. He's probably going to push forward here. He's going to try and really maximize this protection to make sure he clears out as many heads as possible on this point. Even though he misses a few rockets, you actually notice there Kane with follow-up, able to somewhat help him out. Brick goes down
against
as well.
That teamwork. CCAP might not be getting the majority of the damage, but if he's got teammates that are ready to add as much as possible on the sidelines, this is that coordination, that coordinated defense that has been doing so many good things for Unlovables. As Kane flies back in with another double kill. That rocket launcher, and just like that, Unlovables are now in the lead again.
But solidly in the lead too. You know, this isn't a matter of 10% or something, this is at least 20.
Oh, but they can't get out. The Soul is there on the floor. But there we are, the Plasma Trail. Trying to get him out. Oof! Tries to get a little bit tricky there, I think, following him with that Plasma Trail, but wasn't quite meant to be. CCAP here, though. 3 members of No Lives trying to get this back, but there's the charge. Oh! Does he trade it out? Wait, no. Yeah, he managed to take out Side Gear, but it was Brick that got the shot, indeed.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure if they'd like traded it and hit on the same time.
It almost looked like they attacked each other at the exact, almost like on the same frame.
Yeah, it looked like it, but wasn't meant to be. You see Pit trying to wait for a safe opportunity to go and capture this down, as Unlovables are definitely waiting for him. Oh, 2 of them drop. Yet Pit, there is no way he's going up yet.
And that's why he's going to be careful. He was just sort of waiting for that data, waiting for that information for his team. Obviously, the second they both fall down, he's going to look for a moment where they're not there. But realistically, Unlovables, they've lost CCAP, so that might make life a little bit easier. It's going to be a 2-on-1 for now. And there we go, the waiting.
To capture at least. Even though Sen getting that frag, bad at all, but very low Pit here. But it's going to get that quick last-minute gauntlet. So for life, CCAP getting the quad damage in that situation though. Now, if they have the majority of this quad damage, a lot of them dying, bot mode with a nice triple on the point. CCAP is going to be this sentry, this powerful quad damage. a lot of damage.
They pretty much lost everyone on that point before CCAP even got there. So the fact that they have to deal with this team and then a quad damage wielder, I think it's quite a difficult order, really, isn't it?
It's going to be tough. They're probably going to lose this quad damage by the time they capture it. It has just run out now. Next few moments, but that is a 75% 52 lead. Not the biggest lead we've seen in the world.
That could
power-up is gone.
That could be the last power-up we see.
It could be.
If Unlovables hold this defense uncontested for this sort of like 19%, we're not going to see a power-up again. Had to dedicate to the super nails, but unfortunately the charge didn't really do the damage he was looking for. That will swiftly be undone.
You see a telefrag in the kill feed there as well. I wonder if that was a Nyx Ghost Walk. You see Ghost Walk is down, so it must have been surely. It's going to matter though, this defense still coming through. Oh, so many kills. Kane getting a double with that plasma trail. And one by one, No Lives Matter are starting to drop down. This is 98%. Oh, another one from Sen. 99, 100. Just like that, Unlovables are able to take the series 2-0 and convincingly move themselves into grand finals on the winner's side.
I mean, that was definitely a better map for No Lives Matter. You know, they absolutely made Unlovables fight a little bit harder.
It was also their choice. So we can't forget that was the map that they themselves wanted to go with. But you said they were the favourites going into this. You know, were the Unlovables, and I think we're kind of seeing why. You know, they have that coordination, they have that defense, and it worked out for them really well. And it's a bit of a 9-day difference, right? You know, they were looking a little bit shaky and uncomfortable at Denver, but just in the space of a week. I mean, what an adjustment already.
I mean, checking the kill feed, I actually saw one sort of 56 frag counter, but ultimately, Unlovables had significantly more frags on the table than No Lives Matter. And I think in Sacrifice, frag count, a lot of these game modes, like frag count is not the ultimate most important thing, but at the end of the day, if the other team is fragging you so much more to like a really significant amount, I feel like it's just that naturally means that their defense is a bit more on point. If they're having to hold there and defend, and the frags are coming in like at every angle, if you're constantly racking those up and everyone in your team is getting the frags, it means you're constantly holding off a defense and you're constantly defending for a longer period of time, which ultimately allows the percentage to climb quite significantly. So I think Unlovables will be very happy with that. I think they had to definitely fight a little bit harder for it on the Ruins of Sarnath, but there's no getting around the fact Tempest Shrine was a lot easier for them. Going into grand finals, much like the Winrar License Salesmen, they are proving to be the most dangerous team of this region today before they finish the tournament, but now they have that ultimate comfort zone of the winner's side grand finals, as once again for those at home, this is a double elimination tournament. So being grand finals winners is a significant advantage to have over anyone else. So that was North America winners side. We're going to go back into EU where we have our losers finals and then grand finals, and then we're going to jump over to North America. So